Hare Krishna. Am I audible now? It's okay? Was it
Yes,
okay?
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, you are audible.
Okay, okay. So, welcome to all to our Bhakti Vaibhav satsang on weekend. So, we are studying from fourth canto, Udamara section, chapter 22, fourth canto. So, anything you want to just recap something? At least what was going on? Main theme, at least. What is the context? What is the I think net has some issue I think today. Yeah. I'm audible now?
Yes, Prabhuji, you are audible.
Okay. So anyone wants to have some after a long time of 7 days? Anything at least to have some kind of overview or overarching theme. What is going on? Who is meeting whom? Or what is been asked? What is been said? At least something you can have as an overarching principle. Okay. Anyone want to share?
So that's the problem with us Grasthas, Prabhuji. We hear and then things evaporate. Please pray for us.
Uh, we offer our humble obeisance at a lot of sweets because doing so many things, still practicing, dedicating time and energy to serve the Lord. I can understand, but at least uh, okay. So we are reading Prithu Maharaj and Kumaras. Prithu Maharaj is meeting Kumaras. So some main points, at least you can try to meditate on at least one or two points. Whole section, how it is going on. Prithu Maharaj was being glorified by citizens, and then in between Kumaras come by understanding his reputation, especially as a devotee. They want to have his association, Kumaras. So they came and
So, Prabhuji, I think
uh,
how the sadhu and the Vaishnavas, how they are to be honored by the Grastha. That was one point which I remember.
yes, correct. Yeah, that was one of the main themes. How when guests come and how Prithu Maharaj is receiving the Kumaras, though in spite of all the glorification was going on, but still Prithu Maharaj going out of the way and receiving them before everyone, humbly submitting, washing their feet, taking the water and appreciating them. So one is appreciating others and one is humbling oneself before them. So these are both aspects are there. So he's appreciating them and he's humbling himself. So that's the nature of generally in prayers also when we go before the Lord. So these two are also the main aspects of the prayer. We glorify the Lord, we humble ourselves before the Lord. Similarly, before the Vaishnavas, we glorify others and we humble ourselves. Generally, we only speak about myself, how I am low. That is also good, but most of the thing that we need to appreciate others, glorify others, and humbling oneself. We always see in a continuous theme in the Vaishnavas, especially all the acharyas, their prayers, their songs, how they are humbling themselves. So Prithu Maharaj also glorifying them, appreciating them, their general qualities of generally sadhus, how they travel, why they travel, where they grow, and who are all fortunate people who can receive them, who are unfortunate people who don't receive them, and humbling himself, asking questions. So these are all some aspects we discussed a little bit. Especially this chapter is very good. Nowadays, audiobooks are coming. I think Transcend, there is one app. Transcend, I think it has to, we have to buy online. So Transcend app that has audiobooks. So in the app only, it keeps on reading. Whatever, if you have to, translations or purports, whatever you select. So that's a little more convenient maybe while traveling or, of course, I mean, while traveling, it may not be recommended because we have to focus on driving, etc. But in general, so the audiobooks are a little more comfortable. So yeah, I mean, we can keep on hearing a little bit. So these are some themes that we discussed. Prabhupada's, especially these chapters, Prithumara's section itself, more of a devotional content, and also Prabhupada wrote very practical points in purports that what we are seeing, though we are supposed to cover many verses in one class, but we could only cover 17 or 18 till now. Of course, we had short sessions also, both both times, but we'll try to see. But this chapter is very good in terms of practical points, and I understand that we were not able to go through all the purports. Some of the purports we'll try to. Okay, now so Prithu Maharaj glorified them, appreciated them, and asked the questions: What is the benefit? How a suffering soul can be benefited? What is the highest benefit for a suffering people in this world? So that was the main question. Let us see how our Chitush Kumars they are trying to. I don't know why today is some issue. Not four. Okay, let us see. If something happens, I'll change the net. Mhm. So, okay, we'll see the overview first. At least seeing the overview is always good to at least capture some points of what is going on. It gives some kind of impression. After seeing 3, 4 times, you will get some impression of what is going on. So, Prithvi Maharaj meeting for Kumaras, the first 16 we saw. Prithvi Maharaj's rule, reception of the Kumaras, and inquiries from them. Inquiries to them, and also, and he is getting answers from them. Inquiries to them. So they didn't inquire.
Looks like Prabhuji needs to change the network.
Yeah, I think I'll just change the network. I think it's quite breaking. Previously, also I used the same. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Am I audible now? Am I audible? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Yes,
Hare.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, okay. Hmm. Let us see how things. Thank you. Hmm. So, yeah, we have seen the inquiries. And then we are going to start now the second section, 17 to 40. Let's see how much we can cover. But 17 to 40 is the one where Satish Kumar, especially Sant Kumar, is going to answer Prudhumara's question in detail. So can someone read 17 to 20? This can someone read what is saying 17 to 20 and 21 to 25, etc.
Okay, for 17 to 20, Kumar has appreciated Pruthus qualities and inquiries. 20 to
Hmm.
25 answer attachment to Lord, detachment from bodily concept, and means for developing it. 26 to 29 subtle body, its presence, absence, and destruction. 30 to 34 attachment to sense gratification is the cause of samsara. 35 to 36 moksha is important among the four purusharthas. 37 to 38 bhakti mishra jnana. 39 to 40 devotees overcome samsara, but non-devotees cannot. 41 to 42 you have come
That is this section where he answers all the questions and then continues. Again, Pruth Maharaj praises Kumaras. That section starts 41 to 48. So 1 to 17 is like a perfect, welcoming questions, etc., formalities. And then Sant Kumar replies. They appreciate, first they appreciate Pruth Maharaj and his qualities. So amazing Vaishnava etiquette also we learn from all this, especially conversation between great souls. When we hear, we can see how they converse and how they maintain the Vaishnava etiquettes as a devotees. Also, we can learn in Srimad Bhagavatam, especially from Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can learn much more in detail how Vaishnavas deal, talk, feel, think. So these are all for our standards. We can strive for whatever they are trying to teach us. So here Kumaras appreciate Kumaras qualities and the inquiries also. So the questions are also glorious. Maniya sadhu prishtoham bhavadbir lokamangalam yat Krishna yat krita Krishna samprashno enatma prasiti. I think last line I am maybe quoting different thing, but so Shonakari Sota Goswami glorified. So Shonakari says Maniya sadhu prishtoham bhavadbir lokamangalam. For the sake of the people in general, great souls ask questions. So Bhavadvir Lokamangalam. So here also Prithu Maharaj, though he was a great devotee, personally Lord came and and appreciated Prithu Maharaj's qualities and mentioned that I am attracted to because of your qualities, not for the 100 yajnas, not because of the score, but because of the samskaras. So that he had that kind nature and the wonderful qualities that he had, Vaishnava qualities. Lord was attracted and appeared. So that's what Kumaras praised him and his inquiries. And then they started answering. And mainly the question was how, so here is a question. By what means will there be benefit for suffering people? So this is generally is a driving question. In general, sadhus always strive to work for and also ask for. They ask the solutions for all these people. Many, many places we see in Bhagavatam. And the great souls are always asking how these people are suffering so much, how they can be delivered, how they can get benefit. So it's almost similar kind of a thing here. The question, but the answer is in more details at different levels. So the answer they mentioned that so the attachment to the Lord and detachment from bodily concept. So this is the only highest benefit for suffering people. So this is the in fact is the foundation for a whole human life and spiritual life. Developing attachment to Lord and detachment from matter. And also they give more details about how to develop, how to go about that, means for developing it. That attachment and detachment from the matter. And they explain a little more and more about how the attachment or detachment happens because of the subtle body. Manayeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo bandha vishaya sangi nir muktair nirvishayam manaha. So manayeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo. Either for bondage or for liberation, mind is the cause. That is the subtle body, especially here. The subtle body is the because of the subtle body's presence, absence, and rejection is explained how it causes the bondage or liberation. So then finally coming to the point, the attachment to the enjoying tendency is the cause of samsara. And moksha is important amongst four purusharthas. They explain more from that point of view. One should not just settle for dharma or the kama, but one should gear up to moksha. And in general, what we, especially Vaishnavas, moksha means developing prema to the Lord. Param Purushartha, Pancham Purushartha. Not only four, but Pancham Purushartha. So then they explain about Bhakti Mishra Gyan in terms of how to get those attachment. And then they explain how devotees can easily overcome because they have attachment to the Lord, but non-devotees cannot. Okay, let us see what Prabhupada is mentioning in different shlokas and purports. 17th. Yeah. Maitreya Uvacha Putostat Suktam Akarnya Charam Shushtubitam Madhu Smayamana Iva Pritya Kumara Pratyuvaha Cha Pratyuvachaha. Please read translation.
The great sage Maitreya continued, thus Sanat Kumara, the best of the celibates, after hearing the speech of Prithu Maharaj, which was meaningful, appropriate, full of praise, precise words, and very sweet to hear, smiled with full satisfaction and began to speak as follows.
As follows. Okay. So the voice is breaking because of my internet, or all others also able to hear only broken voice. Is my audio is okay? Able to hear?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah, Sanat Kumar, after hearing the speech of Prithu Maharaj, so Prithu Maharaj's speech is glorified, which is meaningful, appropriate, full of precise words, and very sweet to hear. A speech should be composed of selected words, very sweet to hear, appropriate to situation. Such speech is called meaningful. All these good qualifications are present in Prithu Maharaj's speech because he is a perfect devotee. One time Prabhupada was asked, how do you recognize a devotee? How do you understand? How to recognize Hare Krishnas? Reporter asked. My devotees are perfect ladies and gentlemen. So that's what Prabhupada's answer. Simple and perfect. He didn't say, okay, they chant 16 rounds, they follow four regulative principles, they do. Definitely they are there. But they are all supposed to bring out the ideal conduct, sadachar. Sadhana is supposed to bring out sadachar. So then only it's then only the sadhana has a meaningful sadhana. So we need to also definitely we need to do sadhana, but that has to manifest in terms of sadachar, especially speech. I think I don't know whether I showed here, maybe in different forum. I showed that 2.54, the symptoms of a devotee. Just like a wealthy man, his symptoms: big car, tie coat, boot shoe, or whatever. Or mothers may be wearing all kinds of jewelry, gold, diamonds. A wealthy people has their own symptoms. Diseased person have their own symptoms. Prabhupada mentions 2.54 Bhagavad Gita that the main symptom of a devotee is how he speaks, what he speaks. He speaks of Krishna and related to Krishna. So a fool is undiscovered unless he speaks. So that's how he mentions. So speech, austerities of speech also Krishna explains in Gita that anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyam hitam chayat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapo uchyate. So anudvegakaram vakyam, all these qualities we strive to endeavor to speak in non-agitating way. So there is a statement by His Charanjan Bro that we always carry a loaded gun. So that is called tongue. Our gun is always loaded with bullets. AK-40, AK-47, always shooting here and there. So we need to be careful. So yeah, because the speech is the only thing that either makes relationship or breaks relationships. So we endeavor our level best, and of course that has to be main motive in that main central point of the verse is hitam, anudvekaram vakyam, satyam, priyam hitam chayat. Hitam is the main point. So we are intending that we are helping others. Sometimes parents has to chastise the children, correct the mistakes of the students, teacher has to correct students, a spiritual master has to uplift the disciple. So they have to speak something harsh. Sadhu ukti, sadhus are supposed to cut. That's how it's mentioned. But it's not, you cannot apply anywhere and everywhere. We have to see also how to apply. So, but basically, hitam is the main point. We are intending to help other persons, student, children, other person, friends, whoever it may be. So they glorified the speech of Prithu Maharaj. Okay. Sanat Kumar Vacha Sadhubrishtam Maharaja Sarvabhuta Hitatmana Bhavata Vidusha Chapi Sadhu Nam Matir Idrishi. Please read.
Sanat Kumar said, "My dear King Prithu, I am very nicely questioned by you. Such questions are beneficial for all living entities, especially because they are raised by you, who are always thinking of the good of the others. Although you know everything, you ask such questions because that is the behavior of saintly persons. Such intelligence is befitting your position."
Position. Yes. So that means advancement. Advancement means thinking of others' welfare. So here Guru Maharaj, who are always thinking of good of others. Sadhubrishtoham, Sadhubrishtoham Maharaja, Sadhubrishtam Maharaja. So Munaya Sadhubrishtoham, there that verse is Munaya Sadhubrishtoham, Bhavadbir Lokamangalam. So here also Sadhubrishtam Maharaja. So basically thinking of others is coming out of a selfish nature. So that's the starting point. To come out of selfish nature means we need to think of others, especially others' welfare. Welfare, not just only the physical welfare, but most important, spiritual welfare. Of course, as we are having a family, definitely we should think of physical, emotional, and spiritual welfares at three levels: gross, subtle, and spiritual. So Vaishnava doesn't mean that it's only soul. Vaishnava also have some body and he has his own way of thinking, feeling, etc. We respect others. We need to we need to help others in accept others what they are and try to encourage them. That's a very very crucial aspect. Otherwise, it's simply a blame game goes on, comparing, criticizing, finding faults. Yeah, you are like this. You speak like that. Oh. Everywhere, either in ashram or prasthashram, whatever it may be. We need to see the personalities and accept them as they are, and then we appreciate what they are and encourage from wherever they are to go ahead in spiritual life. Everybody has their own physical and emotional needs, interests, and concerns, etc. NIC is the Rasham Guru formula: needs, interests, concerns, and expectations. So these things we try to see, and accordingly we try to relate with others. So that is means coming out of our selfish zone. We endeavor for others. Many, many great souls always, just like Prabhupada, we have always Prabhupada's example. Uh, if it is not for others, why at all he has to travel all over the way from Vrindavan at that age, ripened age of 69, and without any money, without any support, and almost nil contacts, and so no support from any institution. So he has to go all the way. It's only just to welfare of others, compassion. So when we sing the when we recite the Pranati mantra, one sannyasi wrote 5 qualities of Prabhupada in his Vyasabhija offering. He has unconditional love towards Supreme Lord and total surrender to the will of the spiritual master. And then he has total faith in the holy name and uncompromising teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and then inexhaustible compassion. So we are talking about compassion, unconditional love. So first mantra is about unconditional love. Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale. Krishna is loving. Krishna Preshtaya means, so out of all who are all dear to Krishna, Krishna Preshta, he is the most dear personality. He is the most dear. Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale. Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So that shows how unconditional love he has for his Krishna. So that mantra reflects how unconditional love he has for Krishna by seeing that how Krishna loves him as a topmost devotee on Bhutale. Then Namaste Saraswati Devi, total surrender to the will of Spiritual Master. Saraswati Devi, the will of Spiritual Master. Then Saraswati Gauravani Pacharine, unlimited faith in the holy names. So that is Gauravani Pacharane. Gauravani, what is Gauravani? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only to just chant Hare Krishna, chanting Sankirtan movement. So that unlimited faith in the holy name, Gauravani Pacharane, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, uncompromising in teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So Gauravani Pacharane, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, uncompromising. He never compromised anywhere. Prabhupada, you will have millions of followers. You just compromise on one principle of four regulative principles. Just give lenience in one. Sufficient. You will have millions of followers. Prabhupada said, even if I don't have any follower, I am happy. I don't want to compromise on anything else. So that's the Prabhupada writes in introduction, preface, last statement, Bhagavad Gita, that even if one person becomes a pure devotee by this, so I consider this a great success to my endeavor. Uncompromising teachings of Lord Chaitanya and inexhaustible compassion. Paschatya Deshdharane. Inexhaustible compassion. So here we are talking about inexhaustible compassion. How Paschatya Deshdharane has unlimited compassion, inexhaustible. Generally, when we are trying to serve in a festival day, when we want to try, when you want to serve from kitchen, some sweets or something, we expect some count and turns out to be maybe many a times more count. So whatever you want to serve, the sweets will be exhausted. But And you cannot make sweet immediately also. At least rice dal can be made, but sweet is not such a thing we can make immediately. So, but Prabhupada had such an amazing treasury, inexhaustible compassion. It's not exhausting at all. Paschatya Deshtarani, that term reflects inexhaustible compassion for others' welfare. So that's the nature of saintly person. So these are the things that are mentioned in Vyasa Puja offering. I was very much touched by that, how it reflects the Prabhupada Pranati Mantra whole. So that's the nature of saintly persons. Prabhupada glorifies saintly persons. Please read the first highlights, 4 lines.
Maharaj Situ was well conversant in transcendental science, yet he presented himself before the Kumaras as one ignorant of it. The idea is that even if a person is very exalted and knows everything, before his superior he should present questions.
His questions. Arjuna put questions to the Maharaj. The idea is that questions by exalted person put before Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotees are meant for the benefit of benefit of the general people. So therefore, great personalities put themselves in that position and inquire from higher authorities. So they are glorifying. Basically, Sant Kumar glorified his speech and his questions both. This is the connection what Acharya is giving, that O King, just as you desire our association, we desire your association. The association of two parties of men meeting together is desirable, especially great souls. So that's how it's mentioned here. It spreads the benefit to all the hearers and the speakers. So in that mood, they are saying the next verse. So we are also seeking your association, and conversations will benefit many people, not only both of us. So they are seeing from their point of view. We are going to benefit from your association. By speaking, we are going to benefit. So even as a teaching, as a teacher also, we are going to benefit more than that, is because we have to read and try to understand, so this is also a benefit for both parties. That's so asking questions and answering questions is benefit for not only persons who are asking, also speaking, but hearing, all the three parties. Vaktaram Prashtam, uh, Prashtam. Yeah, those who are asking, those who are hearing, and those who are speaking, all the three will be benefited. So that's how this verse is spoken. From their point of view, Sanat Kumar, they are feeling, yeah, it is for our benefit as well. So in that mode they are saying here. Sangama kalu sadhunam ubhayesham cha sammatah yat sambhashana samprashna sarvesham vitanotisham. Vitanotisham. Sham is real happiness, auspiciousness. Vitanoti is expands. Chitro shamdo tamonatau ajanulambita pujo kanakamadhatau. Chitro shamdo tamonatau. No, I think different verse. Gaudodaye Pushpavantau Chitrau Shamdo Tamonada. So both lords arisen in the horizon. Nityananda Lord Gauranga, Chitrau Shamdo Tamonada. They are increasing the real auspiciousness, real happiness. Sarvesham. Yet Sambhashana Samprashna. Sambhashana Samprashna. Both conversation and questions, discussions and questions. So, yeah, please read translation.
When there is a congregation of devotees, their discussions, questions, and answers become conclusive to both speaker and the audience. Thus, such a meeting is beneficial for everyone's real happiness.
Yes. So answers become conclusive to both speaker and the audience. So it becomes more and more solidified in our convictions when we keep on discussing, talking. Matchitta matgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. Not only their convictions become solidified, but at the same time they are happily enjoying the discussions, relishing the discussions. Not so in general mundane topics also. We can see how people keep on talking about sports, cricket, or cinemas, or whatever, and discussions. So they keep on discussing. So similarly, we are supposed to in the association of devotees. But generally, it's not very congenial to talk about Krishna or some topic. So we need to slowly bring in that kind of discussions, topics, discussion about Krishna or what we are undergoing, how to see from Shastra point of view, or whatever we hear, at least little bit connecting to our lives. Then it becomes, at least from Prabhupada's life. So some discussions will increase or more and more. Of course, purification definitely will be there, but more and more connecting to others. Then that will be more useful, and we can release more and more on that relationship. Otherwise, definitely many aspects are there, many subjects are there to discuss. Pranam Santi Sahasrasaha Apashyatam Atmadattvam, second canto. Thousands of topics are there to discuss. But so discussing about Krishna is always beneficial. That's the main point. Hearing discussions among devotees is the only means to receive the powerful message of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, Papa's amazing statement. Hearing discussions among devotees is the only means to receive the powerful message of Supreme Personality. So among devotees means they are discussing and I'm hearing. So that is also great benefit for us. Just like we are reading Gita, the discussion between Supreme Lord and his devotee, Arjun. Or we are hearing from a great soul's discussion between Prutu Maharaj and the Sanat Kumaras. We are hearing their discussions. So that is the only means for Bhadrati to receive the powerful message. So that's how we keep on hearing. So foundation is hearing about Krishna, hearing about Krishna from devotees. It's always the fundamental principle. So here Prabhupada is mentioning about Gita between Krishna and Arjuna. Sant Kumar, one of the Kumaras, informed Prutu Maharaj that his meeting with Kumaras benefited not only Prutu Maharaj but the Kumaras as well. So that Prabhupada is bringing out the point from various examples also. So Narada Muni met Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma thanked Narada Muni. Thank you, my dear son. You asked a wonderful question about creation. He was asking about in second canto. So these discussions are very beneficial for both parties. The word Ubhayesham can be described in many ways. Prabhupada gives more and more deeper understanding about Ubhayesham. So generally there are two classes of men, the materialists and transcendentalists. By hearing discussions between devotees, both the materialists and transcendentalists are benefited. So materialists are benefited because they will understand what is goal of life. And transcendentalists are benefited, they will understand, they will be convinced about the goal, and they relish on a higher level, they are going to relish the topics of Krishna. So that is the main emphasis there. Ubhayesham, Prabhupada brought out another. Ubhayesham is not only speaker and hearer. Ubhayesham, Prabhupada brought out from another angle that both materialists and transcendentalists, especially in the audience. So this is about audience, he was speaking. If a materialist new people are there, they will also get benefited. They will understand what is the goal of life, what is this spiritual life, etc. And also transcendentalists they become more and more convinced about spiritual life and about the defects of material life and how to go ahead. So this is both Ubhayesham is explained by Prabhupada. So continuing, so they are thanking for his. They are saying that we are also going to get benefit, not only you, but we are also. So when they say that, okay, you asked a question, very good, that what is the benefit for, what is the cause of benefit for suffering souls? Or you are already know that answer and you have that kind of solution with you and you are on that level. So that's first they are saying. So you have that kind of what we are going to say, the solution is already you are following. So in that sense, they are speaking this verse. अस्त्वेव राजन् भवतो मदद्विषः पादारविन्दस्य गुणानुवादने प्रतिर्दुरापा विदुनोति नैष्टकी कामं कषायं मलमन्तरात्मनः.
Sanat Kumar continued, my dear king, you already have an inclination to glorify the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such attachment is very difficult to achieve. But when one has attained such unflinching faith in the Lord, it automatically cleanses lusty desires from the core of the heart.
From the core of the heart, yes. So you already have an inclination to glorify the Lord Spirit of the Lord. So what you are asking, what is the solution? You already have that one. You ask what is beneficial for yourself, but you already have what is most beneficial. Fixed attachment to the Lord. So Puthu Maharaj already have that kind of fixed attachment to the Lord, and you know that answer. And just to give for everyone's purpose, for everyone's benefit, you are asking. You already have that beneficial thing. So he is giving more details. Acharya is giving more insight. What is to be done? How to. So if this is the goal, this is the benefit. Fixed attachment to the Lord. If this is the benefit, then what is the problem? What are the things around? So he's speaking a little more detail. Kashayam, kashayam, malamantaratmanaha, vidunoti, cleanses. So Ratirudurapa, that attachment to Krishna, attachment to spirit makes, detached from the matter. So Ratirudurapa, Dhunoti Naishtaki, Om Kashayam, Malamantan, all the heart is cleansed away by that attachment. Uh, once that one, when one has attained such unflinching faith or attachment to the Lord, it automatically cleanses all kinds of dirty desires from the heart. So since you have that attachment, contamination is impossible in you. So this is the mood of the verse is spoken. In that mood they are speaking. So, but they gave solution and they said, yeah, you already have that kind of attachment to the Lord. But this is the solution. This is the only solution that you already know. In that mood they are saying. So attachment to the Lord. So Prabhupada starts with this famous verse from third canto. Shraddharatir Bhaktiranukramishati. How? Katam prasanga mam veera samvido bhavantirutkanna rasayana kata. So hearing prasanga, with the association of the devotees, everything is cleansed and we develop more and more attachment to the Lord. Shraddharatir Bhaktiranukramishati. Mm. Please read this point. Actually, living reality.
Actually, the living being has no connection with this material enjoyment nor with lusty desires. He is simply imagining or dreaming while asleep. But by the association of pure devotees, he is awakened, and immediately the spirit soul is situated in his own glory by understanding his constitutional position as the eternal servant of the Lord.
Hare Krishna. I think Prabhuji got disconnected.
Yes, Prabhu. What you have said.
Sorry, I think lost the net. Okay, so hope you completed before the break.
Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, so let us see. I changed another net. How it works. Actually, the living, basic point is that how Prabhupada is bringing out the philosophical point that soul doesn't have nothing to, just like water and oil. Mothers have a lot of experience. Oil and water doesn't, they don't mix only. How much we may try, how much we may endeavor, oil and matter, oil and water will not, cannot mix at all. Similarly, spirit and matter, it appears to be both are, it appears to be no difference between body and soul as of now. Our experience. We don't able to distinguish what is matter, what is spirit. So that's our conditioned nature. But in actuality, there is no any connection between the matter and spirit. But Prabhupada writes somewhere else that false ego is the knot between matter and spirit. So that false identification itself is a knot. So we need to cut down the knot by hearing more and more association of the pure devotees. So by the association, we'll be cleansed of these all the desires, and we develop attachment to the Lord more and more. So then Prabhupada explains more about glory of bhakti and bhakta, especially from the point of view of comparing karma, jnana, yoga. All these things he compares and glorifies that only bhakti can cleanse, just like he gives example somewhere else, just like cutting the grass from the top. So if you cut the grass from top, again it comes out in rainy season or in due course of time. But when we take out from uprooting karman nirdhati kintu cha bhakti bhajam, it burns from the completely it burns out. There is no any trace. So seeds are seeds are completely fried or completely submerged in water, so they will not sprout again. So like that, it is by bhakti only is possible to cleanse away all the dirt from the heart, not by other process. That's what Prabhupada's main point, thrust of the verse. So till now, Satkumar has mentioned that you have that attachment. So that attachment is the only cause of benefit, only the benefit. Rati towards Krishna, Supreme Lord. Asteva Rajan. You have that kind of attachment. Asti, there is definitely, certainly there is a attachment to Lord, especially in you. And this is the only solution. That's what they explain in this verse. That only can cleanse all the dirt which causing the trouble. So then they continue that this is the only solution. In general, they conclude now in this verse. शास्त्रेषु यानेव सुनिश्चितो नृणां क्षेमस्य सद्य विमृशेषु हेतु असंग आत्मा व्यतिरिक्त आत्मनि दृढ़ारतिर्ब्रह्मणि निर्गुणे च या the kshemasya hetu, the cause of the benefit, especially for suffering souls, the asanga atma vitirikta atmani. So asanga, detachment, and the detachment of the matter, dridharati brahmani, and to the Brahmani is the Supreme Lord. The transcendence, proper translation. So that is the Shastreshu sunishchito nunam. It's concluded. Sunishchita, it's clearly mentioned. Concluded. Attachment to Krishna and detachment from matter. So this is the only final conclusion, and this is the only cause of kshemasya. It's a benefit for all living entities, human society. Please read.
It has been conclusively decided in the scriptures after due consideration that the ultimate goal for the welfare of human society is detachment from the bodily concept of life and increase and steadfast attachment for the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental beyond the modes of material nature.
Mhm. So this at least we overarching principle of bhakti, we keep it as a main principle, that detachment from bodily concept and increased steadfastness attachment to Krishna. So both these things are like a push-pull express. I think in Maharashtra also we have push-pull express from Lonavala to Pune. I don't know now. In Andhra also they have one push-pull express is there. So push-pull express, you have anybody has idea what is push-pull express specialty?
Yes, Prabhuji, there is one engine in the front
Um,
and there is one engine in the back. So one pulls and one pushes.
yeah, good. So yeah, this train has specialty of push and pull. So from behind it pushes, and from especially the Lonavala and Pune has a very slopey area. Lot of inclination is there. So to bring the train, whole train, one engine is not sufficient in the front. From behind also one has to push. So that's why they keep this kind of two engines, push pull. So similarly, we also need to have both engines, from detachment from matter and attachment to Krishna. So pushing from the material world, push from the material world and pull from the spiritual world. So both has to be exercised. So as Krishna also mentions in the Gita, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanudarshanam. Hey, one should contemplate on these miseries of material existence. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanudarshanam. So the more we need to contemplate, the more we contemplate, the more we become detached from this all so-called illusory presentation of happiness in this world. Generally, mind always is filled with so many wonderful thoughts and plans and ideas about how I will enjoy in this world. May not be today, but tomorrow. That's the amazing aspect of mind. That, okay, if I am not enjoying now, tomorrow I will enjoy surely. So, so that for that kind of, especially I'm talking about in general materialist point of view, but definitely devotees are always happy in terms of their engagement in Krishna consciousness. But yeah, that kind of negative injunction is also spoken by Krishna. We need to contemplate more on more on the dukkha vaima shashvatam, to develop more and more detachment from the matter. Because to cut that idea of I'll be happy in this world, we need to see that realities of the world. So in that way, we need to become detached also. We should increase the attachment to Krishna also. Both we need to exercise on. Both need to exercise in our life. So we read about Krishna, his personality, spiritual world, the joy, the happiness, and the wonderful things that are awaiting for us, for all of us in the spiritual world. And Krishna and his personality and his relationship and the joy. And that has to give more and more pull. And even Prabhupada writes, one should be captivated by the information. He writes in Gita 15, I think somewhere, that Natad Bhashte Suryo. So there he writes, one should be captivated by the information of the spiritual world. And we understand the realities, and we should be detached time and again from this bodily concept of life. So there are two, three things here. So attachment and detachment. Are you able to see my document, what I'm sharing? I mean, the note, what I opened.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So here you see there are four kinds of people are there. Materialists, Mayavadis, Sahajiyas, and pure devotees. Can you help me? So we need to see attachment and detachment in these two terms. So we are talking in terms of matter and spirit, or the material world and Krishna. Can you say materialists, what they are attached and what they are detached from?
They're attached to sense gratification.
Okay. Okay, we'll write attached to matter.
Matter.
Attached to matter. Okay. Are they detached from anything?
They seem to be detached from
And spiritual.
consciousness.
They are
Yeah,
from spiritual.
spiritual Krishna. They have detachment from Krishna. Or, or spirit, matter and spirit, or material world and spiritual world are Krishna. Okay. Mayavadis. They are attached to,
Nirvana.
Brahman.
yeah, they are attached to Brahman. So basically, they are detached from matter and detached from Krishna also. Right now, detached from matter and detached from Krishna. Both. They are neither attached to matter nor attached to Krishna. So Sahajiyas, what they are, their attachment is to,
Mental conscious.
pardon, Sahajiyas, whom we call Sahajiyas.
Sahajas means they are on the path of bhakti,
Hmm.
but they take, according to their own whims, they act.
Hmm. Yeah, yes. Anything more? Any thoughts? Sahajiyas, whom we call Sahajiyas.
They are like impure devotees and they consider spiritual practice cheaply.
Hmm.
They
So
are
Sahajiyas,
attached to
yes,
sentiments.
pardon?
They are attached to sentiments.
Ah, they are attached to senses, attached to matter, and attached to Krishna also. They are both. It appears they
Yes.
are devout. Both are there. They appears to be attached to Krishna, sing songs and cry this and that, but at the same time they are attached to matters and gratification. That's where we call them sahyas. Means that's what we try to. So that's where we are attached to matter, attached to Krishna. They are both are there. So pure devotees,
They are detached from matter and attached to Krishna.
they are detached from. They are detached from matter and attached to Krishna. Attached from matter, but attached to Krishna. So in this way, these four people are there. So, so we need to become more and more attached to Krishna and attached from matter. So that's what main point here they're mentioning. This is the cause of the benefit. Kshemasya hetu. The real cause of our Kshema is these two things. We need to cultivate, we need to exercise, we need to develop more and more the pushful express. So please give me 1 minute. I'm trying to share this document. Please read the first para.
Everyone in human society is engaged for the ultimate benefit of life, but persons who are in the bodily conception cannot achieve the ultimate goal, nor can they understand what it is. The ultimate goal of life is described in Bhagavad Gita 2.59, paraha drashta param drashta nivartate. When one find out the
Sorry.
uh, supreme goal of life, he naturally becomes detached from the bodily concept.
Hmm. So here they are mentioning, here Prabhupada mentioning, so who are in bodily concept cannot achieve ultimate goal. What to speak of achieving? They cannot even understand what is the goal. So in those terms, that paramdrishtva nivartate. So we need to cross beyond the so-called enjoyments of this world. We need to become basically detached from this enjoying spirit, attached to attached to the higher happiness in giving pleasure to Krishna. One has to steadily increase attachment for the transcendence. So our attachment has to steadily increase. We need to keep on increasing. Okay, you wrote this point, I think, here. Okay. So we need to steadily keep on increasing. So how to do that? That's what Prabhupada explained in the initial point verse. How to do that? Can we, one or two points, can you say? How we can steadily increase attachment to Krishna and detachment to matter.
Shravanam.
Okay, Shravanam. Shravanam. Anything more specific? How to steadily increase attachment? Though, but we also see that the people are keep on hearing from many years also, but unable to develop that kind of attachment.
Serving the devotees of the Lord.
Okay, serving. Yeah, sir. Mahat seva dwaram ahur vimukti. Mahat sevaya punyatita nishevanath. Yes, we steadily increase the attachment.
Prabhuji, many things are required to be done
Hmm.
parallelly to achieve this end goal. So, like one of them is like chanting, hearing,
Hmm.
but then the quality of the chanting and hearing is most important.
Yeah.
And therefore, we have to remain in association with devotees, serving them, and increase the quality of that, of chanting and hearing. Then ultimately we'll may achieve that goal of param drishtva nivartate.
Hmm. So increasing the attachment, steadily increasing the attachment. As you mentioned, the quality has to be seen, quality has to be increased. And also we need to uh, experience the joy of spiritual life. Experience what is mentioned in scriptures is manifesting in my life. Then we become more and more attached to certain things. And people are attached to all kinds of same thing works for material attachment. Also has to work for spiritual also. As we mentioning that we have to change the direction vector only. So attachment has to slowly it grows. Material world also attachment slowly grows. Smoking, drinking, or whatever we are attached to in material world, slowly it grows. People are attached to family, attached to whatever places. Slowly it grows. So there was a small story in this regard, increasing attachment. How attachment increases slowly. So one time, two families were there. One family neighbors were going to Tirthayatra. So when neighbors are going to Tirthayatra, they have cow, and they said, "See, anyway we have cow, and it's have a calf also. So we are going to Tirthayatra. You please take care of our cow. We'll come back after a month. We are going around. You please take care." So then our neighbor said yes. So they also mentioned, okay, anyway, I mean, calf cannot drink all the milk, so you please take the milk as well. So the owner, the neighbor was taking the milk, and his family, and he has a dog also. So everybody was drinking the one from cow milk. So after 15, 20 days, everybody, I mean, this family was taking milk and having, and the dog is also taking everyday milk. After 30 days, so the person who went to Tirthayatra came back, and he was taking the cow back. So by telling to the person who was given. So but the dog was barking. The owner gave the cow, and the cow is going. When the cow is going, the dog was barking about this fellow who is taking the cow. So I mean, why is barking?
Because he thinks the cow is now his, like.
Yeah. Now the dog thought, "Arey, this is our property, and I am going to drink the milk from this cow every day." And he became slowly attached to this kind of attachment. It's mine. How you are taking now? So that's so slowly when we are trying to think this is my property, the more we are getting into that kind of consciousness, the more we become attached. So this also applies to positive way. So it's applying in negative way. But when we understand when we see things in perspective of the source, who is giving all these things, then we become attached to Krishna more. Everything is given by Krishna. As I think we are discussing another forum that Isha Upanishad verse is talking about how when we see everything in connection with Krishna, we develop Isha Vasha principle. So whatever यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति. Gita 6th chapter says how a devotee sees devotee vision that yo mam pashyati sarvatra, everywhere he sees me, and in everything he sees me. So both in both ways. Just like 10th chapter of Gita explains how Krishna is there in everything, all the appearances manifested by Krishna. The beauty, charm, the chivalry, the glory, the greatness, the weight, and so many things he mentions, 42 appearances. Everything we can see Krishna. This is Krishna's manifestation. Yadyat vibhuti matsattvam srimad pujitameva. Whatever glorious and chivalrous and wondrous is my spark of splendor. And also in 11th chapter he shows everything in Krishna, both ways. In Krishna in everything and everything in Krishna. So when we start looking from that angle point of view, we become more and more attached to Krishna. So that we need to increase our attachment to Krishna steadily in our life. How Krishna is providing everything for us in our life. So in that way, we become more and more attached to Krishna. That's what Prabhupada from another angle, how he says about from the Shastri point of view, as confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra, Tato Brahma Jignasa, without inquiry about supreme or transcendence, one cannot give up attachment for this material world. So he is the source. He is the source we need to inquire. So Tato Brahma Jignasa. In order to get out of bodily conception, one has to increase attachment to or inquiry about Brahman. Tato Brahma Jignasa. We need to inquire. Inquiring the source. He is the source of everything. So in that way we can become detached from this matter and attached to Krishna. To increase attachment for Brahman means to engage in devotional service. So the more we are engaging in devotional service, the more we are internally develop a desire or attachment to the processes. So that should be the symptom we should see in our services or in our reading, hearing. Just like when we eat gulab jamun or any sweet or any hot, that whatever you like. So once we taste one, then though the serving or it's limited or whatever, it's a limited availability, but we want one more. If you really tasty food, especially prasad, the desire is there. The desire increases. Oh, I want one more, or I want something more. So similarly, we can see that attachment is increasing in terms of desire. Oh, I want to render service more. So that shows we are on the right path. The increasing desire to render more and more service or hear more and more, associate with more and more. A simple example, let's say if you like a devotee or any personality, speaker, you want to hear and more, associate with more and more. So that's how the desire increases. So that we need to see whether we are increasing our attachment, at least the desire. So that's one of the main symptom to increasing attachment to Krishna and detached from it matter also at the same time, which is obstructing our devotional service. Please read the conclusion.
Prabhuji, I have a quick question before we
Yeah.
proceed. So, generally, we tell everybody that, you are not the body or the soul,
Mm, mm,
and you have to transcend the bodily concept of life.
mm,
Now, when a person hears this,
mm,
um, and and then, basically we tell that we have to worship Krishna. Okay? But then what happens is they say bodily concept of life we have to transcend, but Krishna also is a body. We can see Krishna is having beautiful form like that.
mm.
But then, many times people have questioned that, even if they will not question it, but internally they may think that because they are seeing everything on the bodily platform, the Lord also, they will not be able to understand that He is transcendental. Even for us devotees, when we see the
Mm.
Vigraha of the Lord, we see very beauty, but I don't know, we are not able to perceive the spiritual reality.
Correct.
So how do we, actually realize this, spiritual reality that the name form of the Lord is actually transcendental and
Mm.
very, very different from the bodily concept of life? Because
Mm.
all we have experience of in this world is bodily concept of life.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
that is one question,
Yeah.
I was having.
Yeah, but the whole Prabhupada purports these next verses will give us the means how to come out. But in general, we have the body. That's why Krishna also manifests in terms of senses only. The whole bhakti process. सर्वोपाधि विनिर्मुक्तं तत्परत्वेन विनिर्मलं ऋषिकेण ऋषिकेश सेवनं भक्तिरुच्यते. So we have senses and we have to serve with our senses, transcendental senses of the Lord. So in the sense that the bodily conception, what we are discussing is that but I am this material body. So that is the center. Or I want to enjoy. So that is called bodily concept. So when we immediately transfer, okay, I am seeing, no, I'm definitely, we are not at that level where we are experiencing Krishna's reality, spiritual reality immediately. But we are seeing the beautiful form of the Lord. We are purifying, that purification is happening slowly, slowly. Just like Prabhupada gives example of iron and fire. Though it appears to be the iron rod, but when it's in touch with fire, it is becoming fiery. So it will act like a fire, slowly, slowly. So similarly, the senses, the more we are purifying them, purifying means we may not be able to see the content wise, it may not change. The body, the contents may not change. We are becoming spiritual, or when we say spiritual master, body is spiritual, the highest, all the personalities, great personalities, all the exalted acharyas, they are spiritual in nature, spiritual body in the sense by not by content, but intent. Intention is very much taken. So otherwise, even if I am a pure devotee, if I don't brush in the morning, or if I don't take bath for 2 3 days, and in general, the material nature, material laws will work. But there are some exalted personalities, they cross beyond the laws of nature. There are some examples, many examples, like Rishabh Dev, etc., in scriptures. And in our experience, maybe only during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu times, some personalities exhibited these kind of qualities. So, but not very ordinarily seen. Uh, we definitely act with this body. So, coming out of the main point that coming out of the bodily concept means we keeping out of the center, that me out of the center, or my enjoying tendency, enjoying mentality, but keeping Krishna's pleasure, Krishna's service in the center, then it is becoming transcendental. Though I may not be able to see immediately, just like iron rod on fire. May not be seen immediately, but it is going to be purified more and more. So in that sense, we purify our eyes by taking darshan of the Lord. We purify our tongue by taking prasad of the Lord. So, as we are mentioning the quality in the previous time, in the previous discussion, that the quality we are trying to improve everything. Almost everything is given just when we come in touch with Krishna consciousness. Almost within a month or two, we are almost everything is given: chanting, prasad, this and that. Almost books, reading, hearing. But slowly, slowly, the quality is a little bit increasing internally. It has to increase internally. Then the purification is happening slowly, slowly, and we are keeping Krishna in center. Then we will able to see the Paramdrishta Nivartate, that we come out of bodily concept mainly here means that keeping me in the center. Attachment to Lord means keeping Krishna as our center. So that's the main point. That's how we need to practice our spiritual life. So then, by Krishna's grace, we can realize the spiritual realities, what is been spoken in Bhagavatam, Gita, or etc., etc. Right? No?
So
Does it make
one
sense?
last point here is that
Uh,
we generally say that we should serve the Lord senses and give pleasure to the Lord senses.
mm,
Okay. When we tell this to any person who is hearing
mm,
first time,
mm,
then he has an internal doubt that, oh, Lord's senses and my senses,
mm.
and that Lord is also enjoying, I am also enjoying. But how to explain to him that Lord's enjoyment is different from our so-called endeavor
Yeah,
of
generally,
being enjoyed?
yeah, especially initial people, we don't emphasize that how we have to completely take out your own enjoyment and keep Krishna in enjoyment. It's very difficult.
Ah,
So initially we keep on encouraging, take prasad, have a wonderful, nice feast. Like boys also, I mean, college preaching or even normal preaching. We start with that, okay, you try to take this prasad, come chant and dance, be happy. So immediately it's very difficult to grasp because taking taking one out of that the conditioned nature, eye-centeredness is quite difficult immediately to keep Krishna in center. So
so
Krishna may not be,
uh, even for us practicing devotees,
yeah,
we may
correct.
agree, theoretically, at that Lord's
Yeah.
enjoyment is
Mm.
participating, but when the
Yeah.
actual sacrifice comes, it's not easy, because I
That's
don't have
right.
session.
Yeah,
That is
that's how the practice. That's the what we are sadhana means. Sadhaka means we are doing sadhana. We need to. That's why all the prayers are there before prasadam, before going to DT, after coming from DT, aparashuddha. These are all there to purify our conditioned nature. How I am the center is always the main center of the consciousness. That's why we read all the Bhuta Shuddhi prayers, Naham Vipro, etc., etc. Before Prasad, we recite prayers. So that's the aspect to practice more and more. So these are all spiritual. To remember, these are all spiritual. Before speaking, reading, we offer prayers to spiritual masters, remembering them. So that's how it makes more and more spiritual in nature. Purifying effect will be there. So
Yes,
that's the
Prabhuji. As per
process.
my understanding,
Mm.
physical engagement is easier than mental engagement. Any
Yeah,
new devotee get easily engaged in physical any seva rather
correct.
than mentally engaged. है ना? So after engaging physically, then his or her mind get purified. After mind, his intelligence get purified, and when mind and intelligence get purified, then one can understand that transcendental form of Lord.
He's asking question, what is that kind of transcendence we are unable to see? How can we convey to the others? That's what is question. That yeah, that's the main point. That physically, new people always we engage in physically more services and prasad, taking darshan of the Lord, seeing some wonderful reading, hearing, seeing wonderful movies in the sense of related to Lord, dramas, etc., etc., to inspire him more and more. But we ourselves, we need to more and more. Some experiences will be there. Krishna will definitely give some experiences of spiritual life by catching them, by understanding them. We go ahead with our practices, and Krishna will reveal the transcendental nature of the either deity or the holy name, whatever it may be. Holy name is not different to Krishna. We are not on that level where we can see. While chanting, we have so many things to, we have so many experiences while chanting. And same thing to deity also. Deity is not different from the Lord. That pure devotees can see, but we are unable to see. That's the whole process. Either new devotees or we are trying to maybe a little more one step ahead in at least in knowledge. So Charmachakshu, they are seeing only a statue. We are throwing Jnanachakshu, oh, this is the actual form of the Lord, Shri Vigraha. My spiritual master told me to serve with gratitude, with respect, with love and devotion. And we are practicing. So slowly we practice, we purify. So that purification happens, but the experience, what we are trying to understand, it's not material, it's transcendental. The holy name, the deity, the prasad, or the charanamrit, or the Vaishnavas, or the spiritual masters, they are all transcendental. It has to be internally revealed by Krishna only. By Krishna's mercy only we can understand their transcendental nature. Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Swalpa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwaso Naiva Jayate. Vishwaso Naiva Jayate, we cannot develop faith. The faith will not rise in these four aspects which are spiritual in nature. Mahaprasad, the holy remnants, Govinda, the beautiful deity form, Nama Brahmani, the holy names, and the Vaishnavas, the spiritual masters. They are spiritual in nature, but Swalpa Punyavatam Rajan, those who have less past credits or less bhakti credits or less purification, then one will be able to appreciate Vishwaso Naiva Jayate. They cannot have faith in these aspects. But by practicing slowly, the same thing we need to keep on practicing. So the more we practice, the more we realize. Just like a small child, see the consciousness gradually evolves from a child, just like a baby of 1 year to 5 years. If you take a baby may understand, a small baby, 6 months, 1 year, he may understand there is some form in the altar. Or let us suppose he comes to Prabhupada offering a flower. Father gives the flower in the hand of a baby, and baby trying to rotate, or father may take the hand and rotate and give it there. That time baby may understand there is some form is there here. That's it. But the consciousness when he grows to 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, then he will understand. He is a person. He is a form is there. Person is there. His name is. When father tells or when they hear, here is the Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, we offer obeisances. So before that development of consciousness, he doesn't understand anything about Prabhupada or offering obeisances, respect, flower and all. So just the physical growth brings the consciousness growth slowly, slowly, and he will understand, oh, he's a Prabhupada, then after 10 years, he will understand how Prabhupada established Krishna consciousness, this and that. More and more, he will able to grasp the subject matter, what he's doing. Though he's doing from childhood, he is a fortunate soul, born in great families, like all of you. So he may do all the from childhood, but he will grasp after certain time, evolution of consciousness. So similarly happens in spiritual level. The same thing, that grasping power, the evolution of consciousness happens. The more we read, hear, understand, and more eager, intense, Krishna starts revealing these aspects. So that's what the whole process of Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anardhani Vritti, Nishtha. Our bhajan has to become at least Nishtita Bhajana Kriya. So then things will start slowly, slowly revealing the nature of the spiritual aspects. The spiritual things become spiritual. Now we are seeing the even the spiritual thing as material. Okay, let me show one slide. Maybe I
That's the
think
point, bro. Spiritual thing also is material right now. That
yeah,
is the root.
uh, somewhere maybe we are just taking 1 minute to see that kind of vision. Important to know. Are you able to see this slide?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So object is material, but the vision is material, then it's only bondage, whatever in the material world. But object is material, the vision is spiritual, then there is purification. So we are engaging the material in spiritual. That's just like flatbread truck, Prabhupada saw. We are seeing, we are trying to engage everything. Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe. So another point is that the object is spiritual, but I am having material vision. Then it's offense. Material is see, deity as a statue or idol. Object is spiritual. This is the highest level. Spiritual object we are experiencing, not just seeing, experiencing as spiritual, the deity as a Lord. So like that, it's a slowly gradual progression. So we need to. So, but how to progress? That we are seeing the further verses. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very slide it is.
Yeah, Chetan Chandra, all
You can
glories to
share
him.
that. I will share on the group if you can share that slide
Sure,
after the class.
sure, sure, sure. So how to do that? So that is the main process of next four verses. So how to get that benefit? What the benefit? The benefit of attachment to the Supreme Lord and detachment from the matter. So the next four verses talks about the means, the processes. The four verses talk about different processes that we need to exercise, and Prabhupada writes very elaborate purports, practical points. So may not be possible to discuss all, but you can go through, especially these 4 or 5 verses. साश्रद्धया भगवद्धर्मचर्यया जिज्ञासयाध्यात्मिकयोगनिष्ठया योगेश्वरोपासनया च नित्यं पुण्यश्रवणकथया पुण्ययया च. Is it? Translation?
Attachment for the Supreme can be increased by practicing devotional service, inquiring about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, applying Bhakti Yoga in life, worshipping the Yogeshwara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and by hearing and chanting about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These actions are pious in themselves.
Pass themselves. Punyaya. Of course, punya is bhakti. Bhakto and Moksakriti. So all these processes, all this Shraddhaya, Bhagavad Dharmacharyaya, Yogeshwara Upasana, pasanaya, punyashrava khataya, punyaya, all this. Prabhupada explains a little more elaborately what are all these things, aspects. So please go through. Prabhupada explains quite details. So what does it mean, serving devotees? To serve topmost devotee means to hear from him about the glories of the Lord. To hear the glories of the Supreme Personality Godhead from the mouth of a pure devotee is to acquire a past life. Okay, read the conclusion.
The conclusion is that to increase attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has to accept a bona fide spiritual master and learn from him the method of devotional service and hear from him about the transcendental message and glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
In this way.
In this way, one has to increase his conviction about devotional service. Then it will be very easy to increase attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So more and more as we days are going in our spiritual life, the conviction has to grow. So the conviction, the dedication, the determination to practice. So slowly, at least whatever we are doing, reading, hearing, associating, taking darshan of the Lord, praying to the Lord, something has to touch the heart. So many times, generally it's more on a stereotype, mechanical way doing things. But the more we keep the spirit has to enter into the ritual. Then it becomes more and more spiritual. But just like we do deity worship, so it has a spirit and it has a ritual. So then it becomes spiritual. So there's sometimes, many a times, what I'm doing may not be, the spirit may not be there in the center. So only ritual becomes more and more mechanical, more and more dry. It will become in due course of time. Then we become more and more like a burden rather than it's like a galagraha. Prabhupada mentions the word galagraha. Galagraha and anugraha. There are two terms are there. There is a galagraha. There is a versus anugraha. So galagraha means have you heard about galagraha anytime? Any understanding of galagraha? So galagraha means cattle, cows or buffaloes, horses or anything which is naughty, which is very troublesome. They put big log of wood in the neck so that it doesn't run fast, it doesn't do some harm to others or whatever. It's like a burden in the neck so that a cow or buffalo will not do some harm to himself and to others. So that's called galagraha. It's very heavy in the neck. So Prabhupada mentions, if a disciple is not very well situated, if his spirit is not entering the ritual, after some time he thinks, why my spiritual master gave me this deity? It's a heavy burden on me. So, or we may think, why my spiritual master gave me 16 rounds? The bead bag becomes very heavy and we keep it aside. Both ho gaya. So that's how it happens. Galagraha. But it's anugraha. It's my spiritual master gave me such a amazing aspect. Amazing benefit. It's a gift to me. Transcendental gift to me. So let me show one verse and then we'll come back. But it's a beautiful verse connected to this point. What Raghunath Das Goswami is thinking. So how we need to think about anugraha. So when we think my spiritual master gave these aspects of devotional life, then we can anugraha will increase, not kalagraha. Not we don't feel it's like a burden. So he's saying that प्रभुरस्वहस्तदत्ता गोवर्धनशीला येई चिंती रघुनाथ प्रेमे भासी गेला. So what Raghunath Das Goswami is thinking every day, So every day is thinking that, Are, Prabhura Swahasta Datta, my Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, Pitan Mahaprabhu Swahasta Datta, he personally gave this to me, Govardhana Shila. Small Shila, Govardhana Shila, we take darshan of this Govardhana Shila in Radha Gokulananda, if you go to Vrindavan. Prabhura Swahasta Datta Govardhana Shila, Chinti in Raghunatha Premibhasi Gela, just by thinking, just by remembering every day. Chinti Raghunatha Premibhasi Gela, he is floating in ecstasy, floating in prema. So he is feeling it's a great anugraha on me. So the one devotee, I think is Damodar Prabhu was sharing in our discussions that how Spiritual Master gives the beads also. Gurura Swahasta Datta Tulasi Ramala Chinti Nija Shishya Premibhasi Gela. The Nija Shishya every day thinks that my Spiritual Master gave personally to me this Tulasi Ramala. To chant the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So he is thinking is anugraha on me. My spiritual master, great anugraha on me. Gurura Swahasta Tatta Tulasi Ramala. Each in Nisha Premi Bhasigal. That's how we need to contemplate how spiritual master great benediction on me. That's how we transcend this kind of kalagraha and anugraha. The more we enter into spirit, the more the act becomes more on a spiritual level, the more we try to experience on a spiritual level. So we cross beyond the matter. So that's the main practice that we need to do. That's what Prabhupada is trying to hinting to. Okay, at least we'll try to cover this 4 verses. अर्धेन्द्रियाराम सघोष्टि अतृष्णया तत्सम्मतानाम् अपरिग्रहेण च विविक्तरुच्या परितोष आत्मनि विना हरेर्गुणपीयूषपानात्. So how that attachment for Krishna and detachment for matter happens. Continues. Please read.
One has to make progress in spiritual life by not associating with persons who are simply interested in sense gratification and making money. Not only such person, but one who associate with such person should be avoided. One should mold his life in such a way that he cannot live in peace without drinking the nectar of the glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari. One can be thus elevated by being disgusted with the taste for sense enjoyment.
So this is the translation of what verse we read. All this process, the process is given. Ardhendriya Rama Saghoshti Atrishnaya. So whatever the association with the sense objects or those one who associates with such persons should be avoided. So it's always mentioned that the sense objects are dangerous, definitely, but those who are attached to sense objects, they are more dangerous than sense objects. That's what injunction. And the same applies to opposite way also. To the Lord, definitely when we praise the Lord, when we glorify the Lord, we become purified and we become attached to the Lord. But when we are attached to those who are attached to the Lord, we become more and more attached to the Lord. Just like simple example of Prabhupada. All the Western devotees, they don't know about Krishna only, what to speak of attachment. They didn't heard only Krishna and Rama. But they became so attached to Prabhupada that so they are giving life to Krishna, Krishna's mission, Krishna chanting holy names, etc. etc. So both ways it works, opposite and negative. The sense objects are not as much dangerous as those who are attached to sense objects. So Acharya give one example that just like fire. Fire is definitely it's hot and it's dangerous. But when the iron rod which is in fire, if it touches that one, it is more damaging, more destructive. than the fire itself. So it's like that. So basically, these are like a negative warnings that one should be careful about. So basically, conscious of Krishna and cautious of Maya. As this Grace Rasham Guru mentions, we are always conscious of Krishna and cautious of Maya. Both ways we need to work on. So one should mold his life in such a way that he cannot live in peace without drinking the nectar of glorification of the Lord. So such a amazing aspect that quite a high platform, but still we are endeavoring, at least on regulative principles. And as a regulation, we try to hear, read, chant, and slowly we come to that level of where we are unable to, just like a breathe, we cannot live without breathing. So that's the nature of devotees is mentioned that they cannot live without Krishna. But that is possible slowly when we are attached to Guru. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Athama Janara Bandhu Lokenath Lokera Jivana. Lokenath Lokera Jivan. My Jivan, my life and soul is Lokenath Lokera. My spiritual master instructions, my spiritual master services is my life and soul. So that's the way through we can gain attachment to Krishna. It's not possible otherwise. So Prabhupada writes more on that aspects of how everyone is just focused on senses and how it's very difficult thing to get detached from. The more we are attached, the more we are degrading in that aspect. So we need to understand these effects, ill effects of the sense gratification and going around the cycle of birth and death. Simply negation or giving up company of materialistic persons will not do. We must have engagements. So we must take up the positive aspects. But yogis and jnanis, they try to take up process, but because they are not attached to Krishna, they gave up matter, but they don't have attached to Krishna, they may slip away. So we need to be careful. That's what Prabhupada is saying. So the beginning of devotional service is to hear about glories of the Supreme Personality Godhead. That is recommended in this verse. Vina harer guna piyusha panat. So we need to try to drink, though it's a bitter juice, Karela juice, as for a jaundice person, as Rupa Goswami mentions that Shat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sita Tavidya Pitto Patapta Rasanasya Narochikano Kintu Atarat Anudinam Kalusaiva Justva Swadikramad Bhavati Tatkatam. So we keep on hearing these aspects that definitely it's a bitter juice. Waking up early in the morning, chanting, taking darshan, going to temple, associating devotees. So quite challenging to the false ego and the senses, etc. But still, by understanding the great benefit, so the more we understand the great benefit that we are going to get, the result, the more easy to handle all these the phases of life. Definitely, we all have experience of spiritual joy and happiness many a times. So we need to remember them, we need to cherish them. And it's a small price compared to the prize we are going to get. The prize at the end we are going to get. So compared to that, the price is very small. So we can tolerate all the inconveniences that how much we will be rewarded at the end of our process. That's by seeing that we can tolerate. So just like a child or a student goes to college, 4 years, keep on studying this, that. He's going to get exam, he's going to get degree, the final, or going to job. So before that, all these things are a little bit comparatively less. Mm. So in that way, we need to focus on. So one point is that when we are getting disappointed, or because when we don't get taste in spiritual life, we generally discouraged or disappointed. So during that time, we need to contemplate on how far we came in spiritual life. where we were and how far we came, that gives more and more encouragement. So, especially when we are discouraged or disappointed, when we don't have taste, etc., what are all things people are doing outside, how they are suffering, and how Krishna gave me the opportunity, and how far I came in spiritual life, following regulatory principles and chanting Hare Krishna, 1 round, 2 rounds, 4 rounds, 16 rounds, taking initiation and services. So how far we came, how Krishna showed so much mercy. And that's how we can encourage ourselves. We can remember ourselves. We can go ahead in the process. And if at all, on the other side, if you are going, if you are becoming complacent, oh, I am doing everything nicely, I am doing everything wonderful. If we are becoming complacent, then one should see how far we have to go. That gives humility. That brings out humility, helplessness, praying for mercy. So these are both things we need to check. We need to exercise. When we are feel discouraged, disappointed, no taste, we should try to contemplate how far we came and on what heights we are being kept from the normal situation. What kind of position we have been given. So and then when we are becoming little internally, how great I am, how wonderful I am, and are becoming lazy or cozy, etc., then we should see how far we have to go. So then we can correct ourselves in both situations. Okay, we can read the summary, what Prabhupada writing, summary and conclusion.
The purport is that one cannot live outside the society of devotees. One must live in the association of devotees where there is a constant chanting and hearing of the glories of the Lord. The Krishna consciousness movement is started for this purpose so that hundreds of ISKCON centers may give people a chance to hear and chant, to accept the spiritual master, and to dis- dissociate themselves from person who are materially interested. For in this for in this way one can make solid advancement in going back home, back to Godhead.
Mm. Prabhupada is practically writing how we need to take up the process of hearing. Hearing is the main association. Hearing means association. Association we hear. So that continues till 25. Maybe one verse we'll take 5 minutes and then we'll pause. अहिंसया पारमहंस्य चर्यया स्मृत्या मुकुन्दा मुकुन्दाचरिताङ्ग्रि मुकुन्दाङ्ग्र्यसीधुना यमैरकामैर्नियमैश्चापि अनिन्दया निरीहया द्वन्द्वतितिक्षया च. So these are all by doing all these things we develop attachment to Krishna and detachment from matter. Please read.
A candidate for spiritual advancement must be non-violent, must follow in the footsteps of great acharyas, must always remember the nectar of pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, must follow the regulative principles without material desire, and while following the regulative principles should not blaspheme others. A devotee should lead a very simple life and not be disturbed by the duality of opposing elements. He should learn to tolerate them.
So it's a very big purport as well. Prabhupada writes all qualities, what is mentioned, ahimsa, paramacharya, how to practice them, what they are, how to practice them, how to avoid certain things, how to take up certain things. So please go through. Lives should be molded in such a way that one cannot remain alone without thinking of Krishna. We should live in Krishna so that while sleeping, eating, sleeping, walking, and working, we remain only in Krishna. So for that only our movement is established. Prabhupada writing on practical terms also. So these are all some various qualities how one should not blaspheme even other religions. Prabhupada brings out here the point. Criticizing, we should not criticize others' methods of religion also. Anindaya. These are all various qualities that we need to exercise in order to become more and more advanced in spiritual life, attachment to Krishna and detachment from matter. So, okay, it's 4:32. We'll pause here. We'll continue tomorrow with this last verse in this series. How to increase attachment and decrease the affection towards the matter. So he gives all these are all some practical things that we can try to exercise in our own lives and hear more and more and contemplate or take up at least one or two. We cannot practice everything at a time. At least one or two things at least we should try to practice to increase or improve in our life. So I don't know, in generally in science they use delta x, science and mathematics, x plus delta x. I think many of you studied in intermediate and college times, x plus delta x, integration or whatever. So delta x means small increment. So small increment when we define, then we can refine it. Otherwise, everything will be appears to be very big, so much. How to improve all these things? Reading itself is quite difficult. What to speak of practicing all these things? So we should not be too much keep on uh, unnecessarily troubled by all this. I have to improve so many things. How it's possible? But we should take little. One thing maybe we can practice. A bit delta X as I mentioned. If we are chanting 16 rounds, then we try to improve in the 16 rounds. How what we want to improve little bit. So that we can define, and then that slowly it becomes refined. Okay, 2 rounds. I am not going to see anything. I am not going to talk anyone, or I am going to just focus on seeing the mantra and chant. So whatever. So that kind of a slowly, small increments. Whatever it may be, maybe chanting, maybe deity worship, or whatever it may be. So small increments we need to define, then we can refine them. And no need to unnecessarily bogged by all so many things are there to improve. What to improve? Okay, better not to improve, better not to work on. That's the final conclusion generally comes to. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for your patient and enthusiastic participation. We pause here for today. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Randra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful
Thank you. Hare
words
Krishna.
of
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.